solve for what your GPA is fundamentally. That's what's in column 1 of table 4, right? The second way that we can do is we can say, let's still keep this relationship here, and let's acknowledge the fact that your GPA is being simultaneously determined with your roommate's GPA. But let's have an instrument, something that's going to affect your roommate's GPA, but that's not going to affect your GPA, except through your roommate's GPA. And so what we do is we predict your roommate's GPA using your roommate's SAT score. Your GPA is not going to affect your roommate's SAT score because your roommate's SAT score happened before you became roommates. And so this is the second way that we try to solve this issue, that your roommate's GPA is influencing your GPA. We figure out what's the component of your roommate's GPA that was, in a sense, like determined before they came to college, and then we use that as an instrument for this. And in the first case, we just instrument for your roommate's GPA using your roommate's ability. So we assume that your roommate's ability doesn't directly affect your GPA, but it only affects your GPA through the effect of your roommate's GPA on your roommate's SAT scores on your roommate's GPA. And then in the second specification, what we do is we say, well, okay, we're going to instrument for your roommate's GPA using not only your roommate's SAT score, but also your roommate's family background and so on and so forth. And when we do that in equation in column 3, what we find is, again, that your roommate's GPA has a significant effect on your own GPA, right, once we instrument for that. Now, if we only did the simple instrument where we only used your SAT score, then we find that it's not significant. But then if we add more controls, which are going to help us to explain a lot more of why you are a good student, right, independently of your roommate's GPA, then we actually see a very similar result to what we got from the ordinary least squares, which was just running this linear regression in tables 3. We also get a similar result in terms of what we got when we use the best response functions. And then we also get something similar when we use the instrumental variables. So we have like these 3 different ways of trying to solve this, this empirical challenge that we have here. Once you understand these main tables, like the rest of the paper is relatively simple to see. Like what they do is they look at, are you more likely to retain your roommate depending on like how sociable you are. Then the other thing that is looked at in this paper is, are the peer effects happening through your interactions with just your roommate, or are they happening at the level of your dorm? And so instead of looking at, for example, like if we look at whether you go and join a fraternity, like whether you join a fraternity regressed on what's the average number of people on your floor that join a fraternity, or the average number of people in your dorm that join a fraternity, and so on and so forth. And then we just look at which of those coefficients are going to be significant to see if it's, if I'm in like a Phi, Beta, Delta, Kappa dorm, then I'm more likely to join because it's like a dorm thing to do, or is it like a room thing to do, or is it like a floor thing to do? I'll leave you with that and just say, I hope this helps you to think about how you can like step through a paper. Was this helpful? Okay, good. And then I'll shoot you an email with the papers that we'll be reading for next week. Have a great weekend, guys. And thanks again to Janet for leading us off with our paper discussion as well.